Live better and longer with the Fitzness Show, hosted by fitness expert, author, and TV personality Fitz Kohler. She'll tell you why diets are dumb, supplements are snake oil, and the truth about how you can earn a lean, hard, pain-free, and athletic body. Now for our favorite bossy blonde, Fitz Kohler.
Well, hi team. I'm Fitz Kohler, your very giggly fitness pro and race announcer from fitzness.com, and welcome to the Fitzness Show. I'm really excited about this episode. Brian, aka Black Diamond, is my guest, and you'll hear how I met him further into the show, but he's an exotic dancer, a stripper, Mr. Male Review, and he's fantastic at his craft. And I met him a couple of weeks ago and I saw him perform and I thought, you know what? It would be great to bring this guy onto my show. And in fact, one of his colleagues is going to appear on another show. That's Kai coming soon. But I just wanted to warn you in advance because I know some of you may listen to my show while driving around in the car with your kids. This is probably not the show to listen with your kids, or if you have a grandmother that's kind of stodgy, right? You will hear some foul language and some risque topics, but it's, it is what it is. We're grown-ups here, right? Or most of us. If you're not a grown-up, maybe you don't want to listen, but I'm really excited about this interview. You're going to have your eyes opened and probably a lot of laughs too. So without further ado, the one and only Black Diamond. Okay, so a Black Diamond, Brian, welcome to the Fitzness Show. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic out in Scottsdale, Arizona. Nice weather, so I can't complain.
Yeah, good for you. But you are a native Floridian, right?
Yeah, I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, Duval County. What's up? Oh, my light keeps turning on. It must not be charged.
That's okay. Don't worry about that. Yeah, you know what's so funny? Whenever I announce races in Jacksonville, the whole crowd starts yelling Duval.
Duval.
And I feel like no other town really cares as much about their county. It's one thing to care about your city, but Duval County has some massive pride.
It's crazy because Jacksonville is like almost the same size as Duval County. So the city, like the county, like the city is huge. Yeah.
So there's so much I want to talk to you about. I mean, there's just endless things, but I want to start at the start. Do you mind sharing a little background of where you grew up and what your family was like? And did you play sports, or what was your thing as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in like right outside of Jacksonville. So, I didn't have a hard life growing up by any means. We weren't, living in the in the bad areas of town. We grew up with my mom and my sisters. My dad lived on the other side of the river. So, that was cool. My mom still has the same house that we grew up in, which is pretty cool. So it's like over not quite 30 years. So a little bit under 30 years, same house. I grew up with a lot of the same people, which is pretty cool. So I got to make friends that were, in third, fourth, fifth grade and graduate with them and go to college with them as well. So that was pretty cool. I played football growing up and some other sports, but really football until in the high school, and then just went to college, went to UCF, didn't want to play sports anymore, kind of just wanted to party. So I went to UCF and ended up getting a bachelor's degree, which is pretty cool. So,
and what subject?
Marketing, which was pretty broad. So it's, it was, I don't know. I think I was just kind of in the mindset is like, let's just get some kind of degree. So.
Well, that's a great degree. I mean, obviously it's relevant to every industry because everybody, if you want to sell something, whether it's a service or a product, you got to market it, right?
Yeah, exactly. That was my thought process.
Okay, so you come out of UCF, go Knights, and did you get a standard job after that point? I'm trying to find how the path led you to dancing.
So actually I graduated and shortly after that packed up all my stuff and moved out of the country for like a year and a half. Yeah.
Where'd you go? What'd you do?
My best friend was living in Thailand So we did a 2-month backpacking trip through Southeast Asia. Went to Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, Laos, and Indonesia. And then after that, packed up and moved to Australia for a little over a year and got to stay in New Zealand for about a month and a half while I was out there as well. So that was pretty cool. And then
Were you just vacationing out there, or did you pick up work when you were in those areas?
in Asia, it was really just traveling. It was so cheap, I didn't have to work.
Yeah.
But I was living in Australia, so I was just doing all kinda, nothing serious, but just kinda jobs here and there to make enough money to go out and party for the weekend, you know?
Got it.
But one of the things I was doing, they celebrate, like, bachelorette parties a lot as well. So they call them, topless waiters. So basically you get hired out by an agency or whatever, and, if someone's celebrating a bachelorette party or a birthday party, they would have me come out and just kinda be like eye candy, playing party games, serving drinks, serving little food and stuff like that. So,
And
uh,
and ho and how did that happen? How did you get into that?
honestly, I don't remember. I think I was just, like, looking for jobs online, and they have, like, their version of Craigslist, and you
Okay.
would see, companies, like, looking for guys or whatever. So finally, I was just like, "Well, I look good. I could do this." And being a black guy in Australia, like, I was kinda like I was definitely different, So, it
And
was good.
and and were they did you go crazy over you?
Yeah, they loved me out there.
That's
Not a lot
awesome.
of
That's
African American guys out there, I'd say.
and are is there any shy bones in your body, or did you just take to that comfortably?
I mean, at first, it's kinda like, "Alright, well, this is" not shy, but, like, maybe a little awkward because you don't know, like, you're just standing in, like, this random place with these women who don't know you. But then, that's when your just personality just kicks in, so I'm cool with, like, getting attention and, being personable, so it's kinda easy to, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, connect with people, so if they're celebrating something, it's easy for me to, get in the role of making them feel good, flirting with the girls, making them smile. So,
So, and I can attest that you're very good at that. Very good, very charming, very charismatic, and,
but how would you
uh
know that?
how would I know? Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I had my daughter and I, we had so much fun at your performance at 50 Shades of Men in Gainesville, and, so this is how we ended up there. My We were watching as a family a Netflix movie, Merry Gentlemen, for Christmas. Have you seen that or heard of it?
Nah.
Now, I mean, it's one of our little traditions that we pick the cheesiest Hallmark movie, and we've watched Dog Walker Christmas. I mean, it gets really bad sometime, and then Ginger thought it would be very funny on the boys to choose that movie, Merry Gentlemen. So, basically, a group of male dancers save the family business. That's what happened in that show, and so we were chatting and Ginger said, "You know, Mom, there's a male review coming to Gainesville." I said, "Oh my God, Ginger, I actually saw it and I put it in my calendar. Do you want to go?" And she was all about it. So it's when I was, I think about 15 or 16, I was teaching fitness in Fort Lauderdale and I don't at a women's health club. And on Friday or Thursday afternoons, at the end of my 5 o'clock class, we'd end the class 10 minutes early, and male dancers from La Bear would show up and in their costumes, and they would strip it down. And I got 50, 60 women in the class with dollar bills, and it was a riot. It was really
That's
fun.
funny.
So yeah, and then I had a fake ID, so I ended up going to La Bear quite a few times in high school, which was a great time. So anyways, I thought, "Well, yeah, I'm gonna bring my daughter to this," and we had a ton of fun, and you
Yeah,
all
that
were
shit was fun.
really fun, really entertaining, but you certainly have a I mean, it's the charm, right? It's a charm to bring women to their knees. So
Yeah, you
so
kinda You saw firsthand.
So good, so good. So you come home from New Zealand and Australia, and how do things progress here in the States?
Well, it was like kinda I had to get readjusted, you know? I've been gone for what I think is a long time, like, over, like, a year and a half. So that was interesting, not really knowing what to do or what I wanted to do because I wanted to just go back out there.
Oh, okay.
Um, but, I after doing, like, the work I was doing out there, I was like, "Well, I'll start my own little company." So I actually went and made an LLC, did all the steps to, like, start a topless waiter company, which, I had the hopes of turning it into, like, hiring out male strippers and stuff like that. And then I just, kinda never really kicked it off, which
Okay.
kinda sucked because it probably would've been great. And then maybe, like, a year after living back home, came out to Arizona and just liked it, so I just ended up just moving out here. And then I did a couple little gigs out here just that I would one I think I found one, I think it was on, like, Craigslist or something. Someone was, like, posted in the little classifieds, like, looking for male model or something like that for a party. So and then when I moved up to Scottsdale, though, I met a guy who runs the show that I work with up here, Brody, the police officer.
Okay.
Yeah, 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 so I know him from out here. So I met him through a girl I was hooking up with, and then that's how, like, I started getting, like, into it.
So does Brody own the company?
Nah, he's just, like, the manager for this location.
Okay.
It's 2 different
Okay.
it's 2 different companies, so, the one we work with out here is called Hunkamania. They do, like they have, like, certain cities that they do shows consistently in, like, every weekend, and then 50 Shades, that's more of, like, a traveling company, so that's why we did a little tour through Florida, but, there's California, there's, the northern parts of the country, they do shows everywhere, so it's 2 different things, yeah.
Okay. So how do you progress from serving drinks with no shirt on, which guys roam around with no shirt on all the time? So I would say that's
Yes.
probably not a big deal, right? But then
No.
you have to transition to actually dancing, performing, going all the way down to the thong. What is that transition like for you?
You like that thong, huh?
Who doesn't like the thong? Come on.
You can admit it. Nah, it's actually funny because, like, I really never thought I could, like, dance, but I always knew that I looked good. Like, I carry, like, a good energy, you know? So and it's, like, super funny because the first time I did a show in the area I live in, I see someone that I knew from college back in Florida, like, in the first row. I'm, like, standing on stage, I'm looking down, and I'm like, "Damn, I know that motherfucker right there." So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, it kinda just evolves, like, start off just kinda being more of an extra in the group, go around the crowd and, just dance on girls, give them lap dances, and then put together a little routine, you practice it, and then you fuck up, and then they don't know you're fucking up because they're just screaming and yelling anyways. And then, yeah, I got, like, fired a few times and rehired back again.
Okay. And why did you get fired? Can I ask?
Uh, so I think it was my energy for sure, like, some of the guys just, like, didn't like me. I come in,
Okay.
and I think I was getting some attention that they were not getting anymore, so guys
So
just, like, weren't fucking with me.
okay, so this is interesting because I talk about getting mean girled a bun. I've certainly been mean girled. So you got mean guyed. You basically got ostracized by mean guys who were jealous.
Yeah, it was a lot of that, like,
Interesting.
you know and I don't think I'm cocky, but, when you're in there, like, I know I'm gonna get certain attention, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they will
Mhm.
I'm a good-looking, tattooed, bald chocolate man. I think when people I don't know, just in my opinion, when girls go to those shows, they wanna see someone that looks like they can rough them up and throw 'em around, and yeah.
And you
So
can and you okay, okay, okay. So So you're dancing, you get comfortable. Do you have to work hard on a routine? I mean, this is actually what I expected when I showed up to your show. I expected you guys to have a routine where you were all dancing in formation, and there was none of that. So how hard do you have to actually practice on your routine before you perform?
I mean, we have group routines, but sometimes we just don't do them. Like
Okay.
with the 50 Shades, we have a pretty good group routine, but the place that we were at in Gainesville, there it was very small. Like the stage was too
Hmm.
small to do it. But my show we do out here, we do 2 group routines throughout the show. So there's some practice, but I mean, after doing it fucking 300 times, like I could, I do it in my sleep basically. And then my routine, I started doing a police officer routine, and then I came up with the doctor routine. So yeah, it's just something that kind of freestyle, and then you figure out what works while you do it. And then, yeah, just, and then I really just do that routine for the most part because just like with like any a circus or a show or whatever, like they, you might do it 100 times, but they're only going to see it one time.
That's right.
So, I think it's pretty good routine, but I got a new costume. I'm going to do a prisoner, and I just got to dial in on the mix for it and then come up with like some of the the routine and like where I'm gonna pick girls up and throw them around and when I'm gonna do little tricks and stuff like that.
So that sounds really fun. So you've done cop and doctor, now prisoner, total opposite of cop. Are there any other characters you would like to bring into your performance at some point? What are you eyeing?
Well, I probably just work on that one for now because that one's gonna be it's gonna be a lot of different music in it and different little changes. But I think some of the more cliche ones, there's always a fireman. You have, if I were to do one, maybe like almost like a butler, you know?
Okay.
Say I come out and like, a little suit and tie, a little champagne, some drinks or something, give it to the girls on stage, and then, act out some kind of something. You see how it's like very like theatrical with all of this stuff. So
It it is. So another thing that surprised me, I mean, again, there wasn't a choreograph routine, but I did think the stage was small and it probably would have been dangerous if you guys were doing hammer time or up there to all four of you. However, y'all did not stick to the script, the lap dance script. I mean, there's shows we've seen where the guys do actual dancing and then there's a little bumping and grinding on a lady's lap. You guys were outrageous and it was so fun and so entertaining, and the amount of blushing and screaming in that room was insane because literally pick up all the ladies. And just to give the folks listening an idea. So you pay a fee to get in the door, and then you have the option to buy yourself a what do you call it,
hot seat.
not the hot seat. That's right. And so I don't think anyone has any idea what they're getting into when they buy a hot seat for your show. I mean, they're really, it's like we think you're going to grind on us while we sit down. No, there's a seat that's put on the stage. There's multiple seats. The women take a seat and then you go woman to woman, and she becomes the star of the show for a couple of moments while you literally toss people around. There were so many upside down women and women on their back on the floor, and it was outrageous. It is so much fun, and the crowd was all ages. I mean, from just probably Ginger was probably the youngest at 21. And then there was women in their 70s and every income bracket and every color. And I mean, all of the ladies. It was so much fun. You guys are wild. How did that happen? How did you transform from just picking your thing on in some lady's face to tossing women in the air?
Well, the show that we do in Arizona it's a little bit more conservative on the tricks
Okay.
just for, I guess, certain reasons, right? So a lot of that stuff we can't do, you know? But when I do private parties, It's different. So we'll pick the girls up, we'll do the tricks, we'll flip them over and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, doing the tricks, it's pretty fun, because they literally have no fucking clue what's about to happen. And then basically, like, when you do the trick, the crowd is gonna react, and it just makes it that much better because the crowd has no clue either. So one thing she's on the ground, next thing she's being flipped upside down, or she's being held in the air, you know?
It's the
So,
craziest thing I've ever seen, and I've seen
yeah.
a lot of things.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
A lot. Now, you do make the announcement or one of you make the announcement if you have, like, a back or neck issue or you're pregnant or bad knees, don't get on the stage. So, do you ever when you're approaching a woman, do you ever think, "Oh, geez, I don't hurt her?" Or, I mean, some of the women were larger women. Do you ever worried about dropping somebody?
Yeah. So I pretty much know, like, when I'm doing my thing, who's gonna be used for what, you know what I mean? So if I know someone's like super, super drunk, I'm not gonna pick her up in the air because
Okay.
she could probably do some stupid and fall, you know? Or, I know if there's someone that's like really tiny, I'll save a certain move for her because maybe I have to, be a little bit more nimble or whatnot. But you know, I work out, so I'll pick a big girl up. Like, I ain't scared. You know what I mean? So, that's also a part of what the crowd likes as well. You see all these
Yeah.
like petite, tiny girls, and I'm not gonna just assume it. I mean, I guess I am assuming, but sometimes girls might feel like, oh, because I'm a little bit bigger, they're not gonna do stuff to me. We actually like we like if you're a bigger girl, you're gonna get targeted for something that's gonna be very appropriate, and the crowd
W
always like has a good reaction. So it's not like anyone's being left out or discriminated against. But if you're super drunk, I'm not, gonna fucking pick you up and hold you in the air because you could. Girls like to lean back for some reason when you pick them up, which is the
Okay.
craziest thing ever. Like, you get picked up and you just lean backwards. It's like, no. You can't do that. Just come back up. Let me move you how I wanna move you, and just if you work with me, this will all be good. It'll be over in a bit.
So fun, and I loved how all the women, again, of all the shapes and sizes were made to feel special and sexy, and they became a part of the show. Now, a disclosure for all the listeners, I have kind of a policy, like, I work on stages, so traditionally, if I'm not supposed to be on the stage, I stay off the stage. So I did not get a hot seat that night. I feel like when I'm not the show, I'll let other people be the show. But once you guys did start, when I started seeing what you were doing, I thought, oh my God, they would toss me like a rag doll. I was so glad I didn't buy a hot seat because I thought, I don't know where I would land, but definitely I would be spun around and something weird would happen. But it was great. It was very fun to watch my daughter get tossed around. That was hilarious.
And then I look at her page and she's like some like sex educator or something.
Yeah, she is. She's actually been a guest on my show. She's getting her degree in theories and politics of human sexuality. So imagine the modern day Dr. Ruth. That's Ginger. So I certainly thought it was appropriate to take her to your show.
Yeah, she probably learned something as well.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm sure. You know what she told me? She told me when I'm done with this, she's starting her own podcast sometime in the near future. She said, save their contact information for me. I said, you betcha.
Hell
You
yeah.
betcha. Okay, so what's the craziest things women have done? Like, what are your stories where you think you're not going to believe what this woman did while I was performing?
Um, uh, I don't know. I get that question a lot. Like, what's the craziest thing? But to me, like, it's not really crazy. It's kind of because I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's a tough question. But I guess while I was performing, I've had like there's a certain part of my thing where I have the towel behind me, and then
Hmm.
I have on two pair of underwear, and I'll have them pull down my top pair, and then my thong is underneath. So I've had them like try to pull down like the thong as well. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I can't just show you my dick here in front of all these people.
Right.
I think at this point, probably all the guys have hooked up with someone at the club, somewhere, gotten a blowjob or banged some girl out in the bathroom.
Oh, gosh.
So
So is that a thing? I mean, you're traveling and you're the hot guys, and all the girls are going crazy. I mean, are you hooking up in all of your stops around the country?
not all of them, but I mean, you're shooting your shot, pretty much when
Right.
at the shows, you're like, one of the four, one of the five, entertainers. Everyone wants one of you, so it's yeah.
So is it a guarantee if you wanted to take someone home every night after every show, that would be a sure thing?
Nah, it's not guaranteed because sometimes, like, honestly, sometimes I'm just not like attracted to, don't really find anyone that I want to chase
Okay.
after. But I mean, it's kind of if I really tried, yeah, I'd say probably could probably pull something about 7 out of 10 times.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. And then what do you like to see walk through the door? So you're there while all the women are loading up into the club, waiting for your show. What excites you? Like, who comes in and you think, "Oh, I'm excited these ladies are here."
uh, when I see them come in with a bunch of money, that
Okay.
is
The rich girls. Rich
that,
girls are
that
most exciting.
excites me. Yep. Yeah. So I mean, I'm there to flirt, but I'm there to work also. So I like the girls who got some money. I like, as far as like looks wise, I don't really have like a type. I find like, you know, I like what is it? I'm, I'm trying not to say the word like a lot. I took this damn course one time to stop saying that word while I'm speaking, and I'm sucking at it right now. But
Thank you for saying that. So at the end of my show, we do a communication tip, which you're going to be asked
yeah,
to do. But that's one of my peeves too. Is it's cutting out the word like. So I'm glad you're working
yeah,
on it. It's not about
yeah,
being
yeah.
perfect all the time. Good for you.
Uh, but yeah, I would say things like what I would like to see come through the door, smaller groups of girls that, like bachelorettes, they usually have a good time, girls who are celebrating birthdays. But even at like our shows that we do while we're traveling, just the girls that are local, they seem to know, well, there's either a lot of stuff going on at the shows or around in the area. So they're coming out for like a girls' night out or something,
Yeah.
and they just want to have a real good time. You know, I like thick girls, but then again, I like little petite girls as well sometimes too. So kind of just depends on the night. But there's usually some point throughout the night where someone makes that connection with me, and it's like, all right,
Oh,
I'll.
and they must feel like the luckiest girl of the night. I'm sure they're thinking, "Oh my God, Black Diamond likes me back." That's exciting.
I've heard that a lot, honestly, and to me, it's
Um,
crazy because I'm just me, like regular person, and but there I'm a little celebrity at the same time, a little rock star, I call it. So
Absolutely. Okay, so a health and fitness podcast. Normally, what do you do to stay so fit? Because you are extremely fit. You can pull off a thong. Well done.
so believe it or not, well, I've been working out since about 15, 33 now. Obviously taking some time off throughout the course of those years. But lately I have, and then when I travel, I don't really work out that much because my body is already so sore from doing this, so many dancing so much throughout the week. Whereas out here, I only dance on the weekends, so I've got a little bit more recovery. But on the road, I'll do some little maintenance workouts, but
Such as what kind?
go in the gym, and instead of loading up, 230, 245 on the bench, I might get in and do some of the machine assisted chest press machines, or, do more things with the dumbbells or the cables, just to
Okay.
still get a pump, but not necessarily lifting to like build mass, just to keep
Right.
the definition. So when I'm working out on the road, it's usually, 10 to 15 reps of things, 3 or 4 sets, kind of try to get in, get out. I try to stay away from doing, like I said, heavy lifting because just that recovery time afterwards sucks. And then you got to go to the show and dance and you're bending and you're jumping, you're picking people up. It's not fun. But
Now, do your performances make you sore?
I would say it's more of like a cardio, if anything.
Okay.
So, but I've got some knee soreness, so sometimes that does, over time cause little pain, but all my moves are pretty calculated, so I'm not doing any awkward bending or anything crazy, but just the fast movements and then going from girl to girl, and yeah, it's more of a cardio of anything, doing the dancing.
Yeah, I believe it. And even when you're not performing and the other guys are performing, you guys seem like you're still hustling around, dancing and so forth. So constant
Mhm.
activity, right?
Yeah, moving around, helping the guys pick stuff up, answering questions, giving dances, it's about 2.5 hours of just nonstop moving.
Okay. And then nutritionally, I can only imagine a female dancer is eating salad nonstop and watching every calorie. What's going on with you and nutrition?
You're you're probably not gonna like this, but I absolutely eat whatever I want. I there's there's no there's no, like, monitoring it, I eat right before the shows. I'll eat, like, a
Wow.
sub or, if we stop by Chipotle, I'm eating before we perform, after the show. Usually, there's late night stuff, but I'll be honest, even when I'm out, just regular, not traveling and stuff, I don't really, like, watch what I eat, you know? So that's why I have to work out a little bit harder. But I do understand that if I watched what I ate and worked out as hard, it would just be better results, but I kinda cheat a little bit with that just because I know I got some pretty good genetics, so I can keep the body, in pretty decent shape.
Wow, that you know what? That is very fortunate because I imagine most people. I mean, the reality is most grown-ups, if they're gonna go to on a cruise in 2 months, all of a sudden they start watching what they eat in preparation because they have to get in a swimsuit at some point. You're like, "I can be almost naked. I'm just fine. I'm gonna have me some
Yeah.
Chipotle and a footlong and whatever, it works for you." But
Yep.
yeah, that might leave some of my listeners bitter. Shame on you.
Yeah, they might
Shame.
not like that one. I'm not the best to ask for, diet nutritional advice. I mean, I could tell you what you should be doing or what I
Right.
should be doing, but as far as
Well,
what I'm actually doing,
now, have you ever had a moment where you've shown up at a show and you thought, "Oh, I put on 5 pounds," or I feel like girls would be like, "I feel bloated." Does that ever go through your mind?
oh, I'm the heaviest. Like, honestly, during this last little tour, I probably gained the most. I usually sit around like between 205 and 210. I think I'm at like 223, but
Okay.
you can't really tell that I put on 10, 12 pounds, but I could tell, but I also know like when I drop the 10, 12 pounds, I'm gonna see a difference. Other people might not necessarily see like a crazy difference, but
Well,
yeah.
I
So I do know
I
I gotta get just back in the gym. The holidays came around. I kind of just got a little lazy like most people. But
mhm.
yeah.
That's bless you for having the genetics that allow you to just look so great all the time. I think I'll leave it there. I mean, what a gift.
I mean, I worked pretty hard though for my body. I've lifted a lot of weight, done a lot of I've worked out a lot over the the
Right,
past decade and a half. So, but yeah, it is I guess it's almost like one of those things, people who are like good at something or smart, they don't really try as hard sometimes. But if they
right.
tried harder, obviously they would excel more. That's kind of I think the weakness that I have, I know I can get right back in shape. But if I just do the other smaller little things, it would just be that much better. So,
Hmm.
oh, what to do?
So,
Just gotta
so,
execute.
so how long will you keep doing this? Because I feel like with this career, eventually there will be some sort of like a finish line, right? Like, I don't know, can you do it at 67?
I think I could swing my diamond for that long till 67.
Okay.
It's probably
Okay.
gonna, I always say different strokes for different folks. So there might be some young hottie in the crowd that says, fuck, like I love older men. And if I'm 67 years old and I'm still, pulling the thong out, they might actually, she might really like that. So
I
um,
agree. I agree.
nah, I don't know how long I see myself doing this. It's something that I feel like uh, it's fun for now, you know, but it's also it's not something that I will want to be doing until I'm like 40 years old by any means. Now it's
Okay.
kind of cool because I'm still young, you know, being able to travel, see some cool places, meet some people and stuff like that. But yeah, eventually I'd rather be spending my weekend nights or weeknights doing other stuff than, shaking my chocolate cheeks.
Now, what's a bad night for you? Have you had a bad night dancing? What's the worst night on the dance floor?
Just some nights when I'm so used to doing my routine, so some nights I'm just like off, and I'm not feeling it, or if like the crowd isn't really into it, that kind of spoils some of those, high impact moments where you're used to getting a certain cheer or like girls are usually throw money at a certain point and that doesn't happen. But I'd say a bad night as far as like money wise or just like
Just like you leaving feeling like, meh, that wasn't as great as it could have gone. Just the experience.
actually one of the shows, Gainesville was good. And then surprisingly, so we had a show in Fort Lauderdale on this last tour. And I was like, oh, we'll be in Fort Lauderdale. It'll be dope. But like the venue was just small. Everything was like super rushed. We didn't get time to like, go around the crowd and do our little lap dances and stuff like that. And I think I made like maybe $100 in tips. I'm like, fuck this. This sucks. It's like, but then, I'm like going around the crowd. I remember this chick, it super pissed me off. These ladies asked me to take a picture with them, and I was already a little like, like in a mood because I didn't make any money on the stage. They asked me to take a picture. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take a picture with y'all. And I'm like, all right, you guys want to just give me like a little tip for, coming around and taking a
And
picture and being here? She's like, no, I'm not going to tip you. And I'm like, bitch,
why?
what? Yeah, I'm like, what? And then I'm like already kind of pissed. And I'm like, so you probably didn't tip on stage. You're not even tip back here. So I'm like having this little argument with this lady, but I'm like, all right, well, whatever. I'm not going to, you know, go back and forth with her. But I'm like, damn, like, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think you have to show up and plan to spend X amount. I mean, whatever is within your budget, but that's the deal when you go see dancers is you bring money to give them, right?
Yeah, people I guess, don't realize it. It's crazy because if you go to like a female strip club, like if I go to the strip club, I'm gonna take like 100, 200, maybe like $300 with me,
Wow.
maybe. But chicks will come to our show and they bring like $5 and like, oh, can I get some
Ugh,
singles? I'm like, bro, just keep that.
yeah.
Like, I think if you're gonna see entertainment, like go somewhere, bring 50, $100. Like, you don't have to be frugal with it. It's like you're not going to a movie, you're not just paying for a ticket, you're paying for, live entertainment. And then you want them to like dance on you and do all this shit. And then it's like, all right, well,
Y-
cool, it's time to tip. And oh, here's a little dollar. Here's a little dollar. But
And we will be right back.
Are you looking for the perfect gift for a loved one battling cancer? The Cancer Comeback Series by Fitz Kohler offers hope, inspiration, and practical guidance. With Your Healthy Cancer Comeback, My Noisy Cancer Comeback, and The Healthy Cancer Comeback Journal. These books are a lifeline for all patients and survivors. Right now, you can order autographed copies at a special discount. Show your support and help a loved one go from sick to strong. Visit fitzness.com today. That's FITZNESS.com. Fitzness.com.
We're back. I highly recommend if anybody goes to see Black Diamond perform, bring
all your
20s. That's
Yes.
bring all the dollars. Bring them all. Or bring
Actually,
many.
clear out the savings account, and then
What is, can I ask, what's the largest tip anyone's ever given you at a performance? From one person.
from one person, maybe just a few $100, I'd say.
That's nice.
You know, I did a private party one time and I got tips like shit. I think I made like they booked me for longer. It was for like a paint party, actually, randomly enough. It's like a nude painting thing.
Okay.
They tipped me like $600 or $700 on top of the booking. So that was pretty cool. I'm just like standing there getting painted, and well, they weren't painting on me, they were painting me. But
They were painting you.
yeah, so that I think that had to be the biggest one. It was like $600 or $700.
But and then what's a rule of thumb? Like if any of my listeners go to see your show, what should they not do besides pinch their pennies? What should they not do when they come see you guys dance?
I don't like, for some reason, girls like to touch you on the face or like put their
Oh,
hand on
interesting.
your feet. That's just such a weird thing to me.
Huh.
Like, no, please don't. That's one of my no's. Or they'll take like, so it's different. So like if a girl has like dollar bills in their breast or in their chest, right? We'll put our mouth on it and take the dollars and motorboat them and stuff. It's fun.
Okay.
But please don't try to take $1 and like shove it in our mouths either.
Ew.
Like, yeah. So like, it's one thing if, like I said, if you know you got some nice tits and we're motorboating you, we'll pull the money out. Or if you have it like on your, you know, your foot on your heel. Sometimes the heels have straps, and we'll grab it from the heel. But yeah, just do not try to put $1 in my mouth.
That's a really interesting. That's very personal.
Yeah. And I'll give you 3 things. What else? Oh, I had a chick try to like grab my money one time, and I'm just like, no. And she was laughing at it. I stopped what I'm doing. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And she got mad at me because I was like not joking around with her. And she's like, why are you being so serious? I'm like, you just try to take like, you look like you're gonna touch my money, try to grab my money. Don't.
Right.
Why would that make sense for you to try to do that and laugh about
Yeah,
it?
that's a crime.
Yeah. So I guess those are my 3 things.
All right. Don't take the money. Don't touch the face. Don't shove anything in a dancer's mouth.
Yes, unless it's a tip.
Okay.
You can put a bean in my mouth, but just don't shove $1.
Okay. So your family, what does your family think about all this?
They think it's funny.
Have they ever come to see you perform?
My dad has, yeah.
And what does he think?
He thought it was like, he was like, well, I see that they all have a good time. You know, he's like, this isn't for me, but I could, you know, see how they enjoy it. My mom and grandma were gonna come when I was in Jacksonville, but they didn't make it. But yeah, they all know. My granddad makes jokes about it and stuff too. So that's really funny.
That's so fun. I'm glad they're open to you. And I bet they're probably not surprised with your big personality that you're doing something very bold like this.
Honestly, yeah. All the stuff I've done, it's kind of like traveling out of the country. You know, they're all like skeptical about it, but they're like, yeah, I'm not surprised he's trying to do this. And then moving out to Arizona was random. Doing the dancing stuff is random. So I'm like the one who's like not following the traditional path, like get married, have kids, settle down, or, you know, so.
Do you think one day you might get married and have kids and settle down?
I'll probably get married. I don't really think I want to have kids. but I think
Okay.
it'd be cool to get married one day.
Well, you've got a lot of opportunity to meet the right woman, that's for sure. Wouldn't that be interesting if you met someone during a performance and married her?
My last girlfriend, actually, they booked me out for a private party, and that's how we met.
Oh, okay. All right. So it could happen. It could happen. All right. Is there anything else you would like my audience to know? Have I missed anything?
No, I mean, this is just a little bit of me, my journey here. I do think if you haven't gone to see like a male strip show, you definitely should. It's fun.
I agree.
But
Here's a question. Do you ever have men come? Like, is there like a cool gay guy group that comes to watch you dance? And how do you all deal with that?
yeah, there's some gay guys that'll come in. There's guys like couples that'll come in. So guys have been to the shows before. I'm a straight guy and I give off the energy that I'm a straight guy. But if the gay guys come in, like, I'll give them a little bit of like an air dance. I'm not going to
Okay.
be personally grinding on you because I don't want to sword fight with a man. And,
Okay.
but I'm not like going to be like weird about it or anything like that. I got my little boundaries as far as that stuff goes. But yeah, we get guys that come in. There's a few guys that I know out here that they come in, just check out the show because it's fun. It's cool. And I've had my guy friends come in as well because it's the best place for guys because there's 100, 200 women and only 4 of us. So if you're in there with us, I mean, you got some of the best odds.
That's right. There was a handful of guys in Gainesville. I think they were just, checking it out. It looked like they were with some of the women there, but I thought, oh, well, that's fun. And I was
Mhm.
wondering if you were tossing around the men. Nobody tossed around the women. I was
I mean, sometimes
like,
they'll get them a hot seat, so you know, there's a guy in the hot seat, you got to do your thing on
that's
him.
cool. Well, I'm guessing they might show up with a wad of money, and why not?
The
Give them the
guys,
best
like the
dance
gay
you've ever
guys,
had.
yeah, their friends usually tip good for them, and they usually tip pretty good as well.
All
So
right.
I think it's like they kind of know, or it's more of like I don't know. I think they just know like, all right, we got to make sure that these guys are like I don't know. It's just they usually do. I can't. I'm trying to explain it, but the gay guys, yeah, they usually will tip you good.
They sound like a hashtag great customer.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, so we always end the show with 2 questions. So you mentioned it before, but communication tip, and you communicate in a variety of ways. So whatever you want to give us, we'll take. But yeah, what's a communication tip for our listeners?
um, Communication tip, I would say. Yeah, I guess the one thing I try to work on, I was like going in person, taking these classes. I forget what it's called, but it's, not saying like and likes
Is it
when
Toastmasters?
Toastmasters, yes.
Yeah.
So if you can find a Toastmasters, if you want to get better, like personal speaking, even just being on Zoom calls or just talking to people in person is good because you'll learn to not say and likes and little fillers and things like that when you're talking to people. Instead, just slow down a little bit and get your thought out. It sounds a lot better when you get your full thought out than try to fill it with an like, something like that. And I got to get better at that. I did notice that I said a lot of and likes. So that would be my communication tip.
Well, thank you for sharing that because that's a hot button issue for me. And I took Toastmasters in 2nd and 1st grade. I was in the gifted program in my elementary school, and we did Toastmasters. And
Mm.
I'm a professional speaker now, and so before I get on some of these ginormous stages, I will Facebook message my gifted teacher from 1st grade, Miss Lombard, and I'll say, earning a big fat check right now for speaking. It's your fault. Thank you so much. But yeah, it was Toastmasters certainly went a long way, and everybody can do it. And there's online programs too. And it just makes you sound a lot more intelligent. It probably allows you to express your intelligence, right?
Yeah, because I know I was saying it a lot on this call, but even when you talk to someone, if they're saying a lot of and likes, it almost sounds like they don't know what they're talking about.
That's exactly right. Even if they do, right?
Yeah, you just sound it's you hear it and you kind of think to yourself, what is he even trying to get out right now? What are you saying? So if I went back and listened to this, I'd probably be saying the same thing about myself. But yeah, definitely something to work on is being conscious about not ums and likes. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, and then the last question, we do song of the show where you give people, you tell them exactly what song they're going to put on their playlist for when they're lifting weights, dancing, playing racquetball, whatever kind of workout they're going on. What is your favorite song that they should add to their playlist? Who sings it and what's the name of it?
Wow. That is such a tough question. Wow. Okay. Let me look at my phone. I listen to the same songs all the time.
Do you have a favorite song you love to perform to? Is there a Black Diamond favorite song?
One of my favorite songs on my playlist to dance to is actually Sex With Me by Rihanna.
Okay.
So I think that's a pretty hot, sexy song. Even though it's a female, it's still kind of the vibe of it. It's still,
Okay.
I think, good energy for a male to dance to.
I
So
really, I feel like that's the perfect song for you to recommend to everybody. Sex with me by
yeah,
Rihanna.
like doing yourself. And then if you listen to the words, Sex With Me is amazing.
I love it. Okay. And then how do people find you? Would you like them to follow you on social media and or come see you perform? Where can they do those things?
So my Instagram is Black Diamond AZ for Arizona,
Okay.
all one word. And I dance locally in Scottsdale, Arizona, pretty much every weekend. As far as traveling,
Well,
you
what's
can
the name of that place?
that place is called Almost Famous in
Okay.
Scottsdale, Arizona, and the group is Hunkomania. So if you are celebrating a bachelorette party, a birthday party, a girls' night out, grandma's 80th birthday, and you want her to come and have a good time, come and check us out. If you hit me up on Instagram, I can get you a discount on the tickets
Nice.
and hook you up with some nice, fun things as well. And if you are not in Scottsdale and you want to check out one of the shows, I won't be doing too much traveling coming up because we get really busy in Arizona. But if you did want to check out one of the shows that, are not in Scottsdale, Hunkomania does do male review shows in different cities across the country. So if you go to hunkomania.com, you can check that out and find a city near you. And also, if you go to 50shades.live, you can find tickets to the show where I met Fitz. And that is a traveling show. So they're going to be in multiple different cities across the country.
And so much fun. I hope everybody checks you out wherever you are and goes to see the show. You know what? I'm sure some people are just, I don't know, holding their handkerchiefs and thinking, I can't believe Fitz went to a strip show and has a stripper on the show. But you're a great guy and you're a talented dancer and a big personality. And it was fun for everybody. There was nothing negative about any of that. So I do
That's
hope people will.
honestly one of my favorite parts of the show. Obviously, I make some good money, but the fact that we get compliments like what you just said, it's fun because I know people plan months in advance to come to these shows. They're doing bachelorette parties. They've spent good money to come out. So we usually have really good reviews. So I appreciate your kind words.
Yeah, so good, and we giggled so much, and we screamed, and it was just fun, and to be honest with you, I hate being out late at night. The fact that the show technically started at 10, but it didn't even start till after 11, in my mind, I was thinking, "Oh my god, I can't believe I'm so late," but then it was 1:30 in the morning, and we were still having a great time. It really speaks volumes
Blast.
about how entertaining you all are. It was awesome, so thank you. Thank
All
you
right.
for
So
all
I
the
got
fun.
2 questions for you. Okay.
Okay.
First question. If you were a stripper, what would your stripper name be?
Golly, well, Fitz is pretty good, but oof, what would it be? This is awful because I'm called noisy professionally because I work on the microphone, but I'd probably be noisy girl though. That would be my stripper name.
Girl.
Noisy girl.
All right, noisy girl. And at the Gainesville show, who was your favorite performer?
Well, it was you and Kai. You and Kai. Yeah. You were all great, but yeah, you and Kai, we loved. You're our personal favorite. So and that came with an invitation to be on the Fitzness show. And thank you for saying yes. Thank you. And are you guys buddies? Do you like each other?
Yeah, so me and Kai actually met at a music festival earlier this year through another dancer.
Okay.
And we kicked it for like 3 days at this music festival. And then I've gone out on tour with him 2 times before this one that we met you at. So yeah, we're pretty cool.
Good. Yeah. We were hoping you all were friends.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not always that way, but you seemed very nice and supportive of each other, and you all filled in nicely to make sure while one guy was performing, he had all the resources he needs. He needed to do his thing and keep track of his money and hype up the crowd. It was charming.
Yep. We worked pretty good together.
Yeah, I like that. Well, Mr. Black Diamond, thank you for being a guest on the Fitzness show. As I travel around the country, I'm going to keep an eye on your schedule so I can come see you again.
If you're ever in Scottsdale, please hit me up. I'll take good care of you.
I sure will. Now, the final thing is you have to tell my audience with gusto to get to work.
Get to work.
Hi, this is Rudy Novotny, the voice of America's Marathons. We all love how much running has benefited every aspect of our lives, so much so that most of us only wish we'd started sooner. Wouldn't it be wonderful to gift the opportunity to children of today? Well, you can. The Morning Mile is a before-school walking and running program that gives children a chance to start each day in an active way while enjoying fun, music, and friends. That's every child, every day. It's also supported by a wonderful system of rewards, which keeps students highly motivated and frequently congratulated. Created by our favorite fitness expert, Fitz Kohler, Morning Milers across the country have run over 2 million miles and are having greater success with academics, behavior, and sports because of it. The Morning Mile is free to the child, free to the school, and is inexpensively funded by businesses or generous individuals. Help more kids get moving in the morning by visiting morningmile.com. Champion the program at your favorite school or find out more about sponsorship opportunities. That's morningmile.com. Long may you run.